Dr. Liam Chen was a xenoagricultural specialist, which meant he understood soil composition, cross-species crop compatibility, and the biological requirements for terraforming hostile environments. What he did not understand was diplomacy, which was why he was completely unprepared when the Satharian Empire's entire delegation walked out of treaty negotiations. The crisis unfolded in the Grand Negotiation Hall of Corelli's Station, where Earth's diplomatic corps had spent 6 months preparing for these talks. The Satharians were an ancient species. Their civilization predated humanity's written history by millennia, with elegant pointed ears and skin that shifted through luminescent colors reflecting their emotional states. Their empire spanned hundreds of systems, and their cultural protocols were famously complex. Earth needed their agricultural technology for Mars terraforming. The Satharians needed Earth's extensive biodiversity data for their own failing colony worlds. It should have been straightforward exchange. Instead, Liam watched from the observation gallery as Queen Vithara, the Satharian sovereign herself, rose from the negotiation table with her skin cycling through colors that even Liam recognized as deeply offended. Her advisors followed suit, their movements rigid with formal outrage. Earth's chief diplomat was stammering apologies that seemed to make things worse. "What happened?" Liam asked Dr. Okonkwo, his supervisor, who'd brought him to observe the negotiations. "Water," Okonkwo said, sounding exhausted. "We offered them water in crystal decanters. Treated, purified, perfectly clean earth water. Apparently that's a grave insult in Satharian culture." Liam blinked. "We insulted them with water? With purified water. Satharians have sacred protocols around natural water sources. Offering them artificially treated water is, well, culturally it's the equivalent of serving royalty from a toilet." "Oh." Liam looked down at his personal canteen, battered and dented from years of fieldwork, filled with water from a natural spring in the Colorado Rockies that he'd collected before leaving Earth. He always carried it, a reminder of home, of the natural world he was trying to help preserve across other planets. "The Queen's advisors are demanding formal apologies, ritual cleansing ceremonies, weeks of diplomatic atonement," Okonkwo continued. "Meanwhile, Mars terraforming is on hold because without Satharian technology, we're looking at another 50 years minimum." Liam watched Queen Vithara's retreating figure, her skin now the deep purple that apparently meant profound disappointment. The Earth delegation looked panicked. Security was trying to manage the chaos. And Liam, clutching his canteen, had a terrible idea. It would either fix everything or get him expelled from the coalition entirely. "Dr. Okonkwo," he said slowly, "I need you to not stop me from doing something incredibly stupid." Liam walked onto the negotiation floor before his brain could catch up to his feet. Security was too distracted managing the exodus to notice one more human approaching. He made it halfway to Queen Vithara before her guards registered his presence, their skin darkening to combat black as they moved to intercept. "Your Majesty," Liam called out, loud enough to carry, keeping his hands visible and non-threatening. The hall froze. "You didn't just approach the Satharian queen. You requested audience through 17 layers of protocol, waited for approval, and approached only when specifically summoned." Liam had just violated everything. Vithara turned, her skin cycling through confused purples and irritated reds. Her guards were seconds from tackling him. Earth's diplomats looked horrified, but Liam had committed now, so he kept going. "I believe there was a misunderstanding about water," he said, his voice steadier than he felt. "What was offered before wasn't meant as insult. My people just didn't understand the significance." He held up his canteen. "But this is from a place I love, a natural spring in the Colorado Rockies, untouched by purification systems. I collected it myself before leaving Earth because it reminds me of home, of what's worth protecting." He stopped at respectful distance and offered the canteen with both hands, like he'd seen in old Earth ceremonies. "If you're willing, Your Majesty, I'd be honored if you'd accept it." The hall went absolutely silent, not the polite quiet of ceremony, but the shocked silence of witnessing something unprecedented and possibly catastrophic. Liam could hear his own heartbeat. Queen Vithara's skin cycled through colors he didn't recognize, patterns that seemed to war between outrage and something else. Her chief advisor stepped forward. "This is unacceptable. Protocol forbids. I'm aware of protocol, Vithara said quietly, her eyes fixed on the canteen. I'm also aware that protocols can become prisons. She looked at Liam, really looked at him. You offer this from genuine intent. Yes, Your Majesty. No politics, no calculated diplomacy. Just water from a place that matters to me, shared with someone who understands what natural water means. Vithara's skin shifted to colors that Liam's crash course cultural training suggested meant deep thought and perhaps curiosity. Her advisors were making urgent gestures. Earth's ambassador looked like he might collapse. The guards still hadn't decided whether to arrest Liam or protect their queen from this insane breach of tradition. Vithara reached out and took the canteen. The hall erupted in gasps. The queen held Liam's battered field canteen like it was made of something precious and fragile. Her advisors surged forward with protests. Accepting items from hands beneath her station violated fundamental Satharian hierarchy, especially from species as young as humanity. But Vithara raised her free hand in a gesture that silenced them completely. She opened the canteen. Liam watched her luminescent skin pulse with colors his limited knowledge identified as surprise and recognition. She could smell it, the mineral content, the signature of actual spring water, the absence of chemical purification. Her ears tilted forward in what he hoped was a good sign. Vithara took a sip. The silence intensified to something almost painful. Every eye in the hall watched their queen drink from a human's personal canteen, breaking protocols that hadn't been violated in living memory. Liam held his breath. Vithara's eyes closed. Her skin shifted through a cascade of colors, gold and silver and soft blue, patterns that seemed to flow like water itself. When she opened her eyes again, they were bright with what might have been tears. "This is real water," she said quietly, her voice carrying in the absolute silence. "From a living spring." She took another small sip, her expression something between wonder and sorrow. "I haven't tasted water like this in. I'm not certain I ever have." Liam stared at her, understanding hitting him like a physical blow. The Satharian Empire was one of the most technologically advanced in the coalition. They'd mastered environmental control thousands of years ago. Every drop of water in their empire was filtered, treated, processed to chemical perfection. And their queen had probably never tasted natural spring water in her entire life. "Your empire purifies everything," Liam said softly, understanding now why the insult had cut so deep. "You've optimized water until it's perfect and empty." "We achieved purity," Vithara agreed, her skin cycling through sad blues. "We eliminated every contaminant, every variable, every risk. Our water is chemically flawless." She looked at the canteen, and spiritually void. "Our ancestors built temples at natural springs. We destroyed those springs in the name of progress." She handed the canteen back to Liam, and her skin shifted to determined gold. "Please sit with me, Dr. Chen. I wish to hear about this spring of yours." Her advisors looked apoplectic. Earth's diplomats looked terrified. But Vithara was already moving to a less formal seating area, gesturing for Liam to follow. "Tell me," she said as they sat, "about the place this water comes from." Liam told her about the Rocky Mountains, about hiking with his father through wilderness, preserved carefully by generations who understood that some things shouldn't be improved, just protected. He described the spring, clear and cold, fed by snowmelt, surrounded by wildflowers and ancient pines. He explained that he kept the canteen as a reminder that humanity's reach for the stars didn't mean abandoning what made Earth worth saving. Vithara listened with her skin cycling through colors that her translator identified as wonder, longing, and deep sadness. When Liam finished, she was quiet for a long moment. "We lost this," she said finally. "The Satharian Empire mastered our environment so completely that we eliminated everything wild, everything uncontrolled. Our water is pure because we've destroyed every natural spring, dammed every wild river, contained every untamed source." Her ears drooped slightly. "We achieved perfection and lost authenticity. It's not too late," Liam offered. "Earth still has both, advanced cities and protected wilderness. It's possible to have progress and preservation." "Is it?" Vithara's skin shifted to hopeful green. "Would your people share not just data, but this philosophy? Could you teach us to value the natural again?" The formal crisis dissolved in that conversation. Vithara didn't want ceremonial apologies or ritual cleansing. She wanted Earth to help the Satharian Empire rediscover what they'd lost in their pursuit of technological perfection. The treaty transformed from cold exchange to genuine partnership. "We'll share your agricultural technology for Mars," Vithara said, her skin settled into calm silver. "But we ask that you preserve natural features in the terraforming, keep wild spaces, protect natural water sources, show us how you balance progress with preservation." Earth's diplomats scrambled to revise treaty terms. Liam sat with the Queen, sharing water from his canteen, him taking sips, then her, back and forth like old friends passing a bottle. "You broke every protocol today," Vithara said, her ears tilted in what Liam had learned was amusement. "You could have been arrested, expelled, caused an interstellar incident." "I figured we already had an interstellar incident," Liam replied. "Worst case, I just made it weirder." Vithara laughed, a sound like chimes that made her advisors look faint. "Your species fascinates me, Dr. Chen. You reach for the stars while keeping springs in your mountains. You build cities but preserve wilderness. You understand something we forgot, that the goal isn't to control everything, but to appreciate what's already perfect." 6 months later, Mars terraforming began with Satharian guidance that emphasized preserving the natural features discovered beneath the red dust: ancient aquifers, mineral springs, geological formations that could be protected rather than erased. Vithara visited Earth to see Liam's spring, standing in Colorado wilderness with her skin cycling through every color of joy while she filled a Satharian canteen with water from the source. She sent Liam a gift afterward, an ornate canteen of Satharian design inscribed in their flowing script. The translation read, "For carrying what matters." When reporters asked Liam how he'd fixed a diplomatic crisis that nearly collapsed critical negotiations, he shrugged and said he'd just offered someone a drink when they looked thirsty. That the Queen had the courage to accept it, to break her own culture's protocols in favor of genuine connection, said more about her than him. Sometimes the most revolutionary act isn't grand ceremony or political maneuvering. Sometimes it's just two people sharing water and recognizing that trust matters more than tradition, that vulnerability bridges divides better than power, and that the simplest gestures carry the deepest meaning when they are offered with genuine heart. Liam still carries both canteens on field expeditions, his battered one from Earth and Vithara's ornate gift. He fills them from natural springs wherever he finds them, protecting what's worth preserving while helping humanity reach for the stars. Because sometimes progress means learning when not to improve what's already perfect.